Welcome there, folks, and happy April 8th of 2021. I hope you all are still being safe, still, alive and kicking around to where we can still do our jobs and have some fun with this and, enjoy what's going on. Now, today in this webinar, we're going to talk about what is changed in my project. Now, my name is Zachary Rico. I am a MEP technical specialist here at ATG USA. But I want to make one thing clear is that even though I am an MEP tech here giving this webinar can be used not only for architecture in some sort, but also with structural, anything dealing with Revit inside of here. So we know what has changed in our project, what is, going on, and what has been really moved around since we know what has happened and everything else. So going on with that, let's go ahead, kick this off and get rocking and rolling here. So we're going to talk about a little bit of our goals that we're going to look at here. Now, I have a couple goals that we're going to, see that we're kind of going over, but then I have one major goal that we're going to really hone in on. So our first goal is that we're going to discuss the small things that affect us. We're going to look at, what is the lack of communication. People always tell us that, hey, this has changed, but they don't get into specifics of, has it increased or decreased on what level capacity, whether it be a wall, a pipe, or something that affects our model that we need to change in there. Then we're also going to, dive deep into the tool and see what some of the features are that we can really hone in and specifically see and really calculate. That's going to be more for us to know what's going on, what has stayed the same, what has changed, what has been brought in, what is taken out, things like that. And then we're going to utilize the snapshots for what other communications we can hone in on. So we're going to say, hey, we have this information, we have this data over, the entire in our entire project. So we can share this out and be like, okay, this is the evolution of it. Oh, wait, no, this was changed back here. Here's the information on it. So we can really hone in on what all is going on. And then our biggest goal is that we have to know the ability and see all of the changes that have been made at any stage of the project, whether it be provided information or at the very end for whoever needs them, whether it be, different architects, MEP, specific engineers, things like that. So they know all of what is happening, what is going on, making it easier on all parties. Because if we do this small little step, it makes everything else go a lot easier. It makes, understanding what we're dealing with and the people that we're dealing with a lot easier. So now let's go ahead, kick it off into a demo. I do have my Revit project open here with this nice little building here that you can see. I've already got some mechanical equipment in and with some CFMs, things like that. But to start out here, the tool that we're going to use is in the BIM project suite under the premium tools from CTC. It's this little one here called Model Compare. This Model Compare tool really hones in on what all is going on. As you can see, there's already a variety of information in here for us to look at, go through, and utilize. So I'm going to start out with taking a snapshot for us to know what is going on. If you have not saved the project, like I did purposely on this one, it will give you this error to say, hey, the current project file has unsaved changes. Now, this may cause issues, but hey, it's warning you, it's letting you know what all is going on. So I'm going to go ahead and kind of skip over it and kind of go from there. Now we can save this snapshot to a specific file, which is very nice. So we can keep this data together specifically on specific projects. So, hey, we don't have a cluster of what is what. We know which one it's going to, which one it's going to stay as, and the data for it. Now, on our little left-hand side here, we're going to show the filter settings so we can see what all is in here. So for the what to include, we can see all of our different categories that we're going to have in here, all of our Revit categories that it's just standard that it's going to have in every Revit category. So we can say, hey, do we want to include all Revit categories, yes or no? Then we go into the data types to include as well. Do we want to include specific data types or no? Do we want to only have a select few? What do we want to work with? And then do we want to include any parameters at all? Well, any fast or slow parameters? This is going to be more on for your high-end users that are really going to look for, hey, I need to know specific things on what they're changing in current flows or different things like that when they make those adjustments. Now we can also go here to where to search. Do we want to search specific levels that are found inside the project that are going to be listed? It is currently not listed for me because I have not saved this project out. Then we can also do, hey, search by phase. Do we want to, specifically find a phase created or a phase demolished or existed and look and say, all right, hey, we're going to look in the comparison between what is demolished and what's going to be new and compare those two or see what's going to be changed or what's going to be adjusted, things like that. So we know at the beginning of our stages where we're going to work with and what we're going to have to look forward to. Then we can also go by views. Hey, do we want to search all the views? Only search the active view that we currently have on right now. So we can see only changes that are happening on this level or in this specific area. Or do we want to search only through a set of views that we want to go with, work with, see things like that. Now we also have the search only for families in the primary design option. So if we wanted to, we can say, hey, this is the primary design option right here that we already have set up. We only want to search for families inside this area, see what's changed in there, and then go from there. Now, I'm not going to go ahead and already do that to save some time for us, but I already have some comparison to create. Now, in this comparison tool, this is where we're going to look at those snapshots and look at what's going on with that. So we have, if we have previous comparisons open or set up that we already saved, we can open those or we can create a new comparison. So currently I have 2 ones open up. So I'm going to go ahead and click browse here and go ahead and select one that's previously as an old project here. Now I selected this old project that was dated all the way back in March, and the current new one I have was dated for today. So I can see specifically over, a long period of time, what all has changed, what all adjustments have been made, things like that. Now I start out here in my elements and I can see right here in the beginning a list of family categories that I can search through, hone through, select, deselect any ones that I want to use or move. And then I can also copy that selection and bring it over to the model category elements and kind of work with and utilize. So I can see, really hone in and know, okay, this is what we're looking for. This is what we're going to compare and go from. And then we have the annotation category elements as well. So we know, hey, this is, specific elements of tags or, grid lines, things like that. We can see in here and really hone in and utilize. Then we also have our parameters. What parameters are we going to be looking for? Here's our list that we already have set up, and we can look through, hone in. And now this is going to be based off the parameters that are already set up in the project right now that you have open. So as I go ahead, click OK, it's going to go ahead and run through it. It's going to go run through all this data, through everything that's in there. It's not going to leave a piece of dust, untouched or unscathed, basically, in this virtual model setup. So as we can see here, we have the 2 setups listed right now of everything that's listed. We have our green, meaning that is equal. Our little yellow means that things are different. The little teal right here is that things have been added. It wasn't existent before, but has been added. And the little red right here saying, hey, it was in there, but taken out. It's no longer in there. So as we go to elements real quickly here, we can, I may have selected the wrong file. That is currently my bad. So let's go ahead and do a new comparison here, and let's change it to this one and make sure that we are on the current one as well, changing that and then rerunning it and going okay. So my apologies on that. Definitely make sure you guys are looking through to see which one is right and which one is wrong before just clicking OK. Now, as that's taking a second to re-look through everything, version itself from what the previous snapshot was to what it is currently now, same thing, same instances, same setup. Now, here we are. This is what you're supposed to be starting to see of as model categories and annotation categories of two drop downs, so it's split up. As I go ahead and keep going further and further and further down, I can see what dimensions have changed, what identity data has, changed, things like that. That's all because of these little two boxes right here. This is only showing me, hey, these are the ones that are different and not existent. Same thing with the parameters as well. I can set them to both to be equal, and it will provide that information right here in green saying, hey, these have just stayed the same. They haven't changed, they haven't done anything else, but they're still the same. So I can keep going and keep filtering down through and seeing all that information. Now, what also is nice here is I'm going to go ahead and get rid of the equals on both ends. I'm just going to filter down through the air terminals through this first one real quickly here, and go ahead and select this one. Now I have a couple options here. At the top right here, we have auto zoom and auto select here. So if I go ahead and click auto zoom, it's going to zoom in to the specific area that it is, and it will go ahead and select that specific one for me. So if I go ahead and select auto select, it basically picks it out for me and all this other information. So when I go back to my model, I can see, oh yeah, hey, it's this specific one right here that's being used and being worked with and kind of adjusted and utilized with. As you can see right here, this is the one that we're basing it off of. So continuing on here, as I go into my parameters here, it's going to be the same setup, same thing, but it's going to hone in specifically only on parameters. So as I go ahead and click equals again here to see which ones have been equal, I can see that information right now, but I see dimensions have changed on quite a few different ones around here. As you can see, we have our type and our identifier here and what the two Revit, projects were. This being the older side and this being the newer side, so we can see that information and see what all has changed. For instance, this one right here has changed and adjusted enough that it's, hey, we can't see it. We want to select on it. We want to view it, zoom in for it. There is, and now if there is no open view of it, we can click OK, and it will go to an open view for us and show us, what has changed in here. So as you can see, it's this piece right here that has moved over or adjusted for us to see that information. This is really helpful and really keen on us specifically knowing what is going on. We can make that note, we can make that information, and really, really know what it is that we have to make adjustments on. Now, as we go into our last little tab here, we have our report. Now, our report is going to go in and take each specific family or specific piece of data, whether that be that tag or that wall or that pipe, and go in one by one and match everything to it, especially with the parameters as well. So it's really going to know, okay, this name changed. We had it as area A before, but now it's area Z for some reason because someone messed up on something. So we know that, we can see that, we can adjust that and go from there. Now it is taking a little bit extra time to go through this. That's because of what I said before. It's going through every little nook and cranny and matching everything to what it has to be and what it's going to be. So now I'm just going to go a little bit over just highlight what's up here above. The about for all CTC tools will take you to, hey, here's the information of what project suite version you're on, and a quick link to get you to the newest version so you can download it. The support will take you to their support page, so you can, if there's any issues, you can take that up with them, and then we may handle it as well and adjust things as need be. There's also some little videos to help guide through specifically, hey, what this tool does a little bit more, a little bit extra, in case you want some, different opinions, different view options, things like that. Little help here opens up a PDF for everything that the tool does and all of its features for everything inside the entire suite. So what's also nice is they have, quick select, options to where, hey, I just want the model compare. It'll take me all the way to that specific page, and it'll go through different features and different specific notes on, saving and other things like that give us those options as well. The little scheduler here, we can schedule time specifically for, hey, on every Friday at 4 o'clock, we are going to run the model compare tool between project A and project B at every stage, every Friday, or every 3 weeks, or every day, however you guys want to set that up. You can do it easily right through here and kind of know what all is going on, so you don't have to constantly open the tool and go through it every time. So now as we scroll down here, we see more information. Now we get into our families, and now this is dealing with analytic links. Here's the specific ID number for it, and we can see all this information as we continue down. As you see, a lot of this stuff is already the same. As I keep scrolling down here, I'm going to find something that's, quite a bit changed or no longer existent. Like for this one right here. This is a globe valve that is threaded with at least, 2 inches. And so we can see here that its bounded has decreased from what it was in a lot of areas. The identity data hasn't really changed, but edited by myself, as you can see here. And then as we continue to go on here, I'm going to show you some other stuff that shows, hey, things have been taken out or deleted. Things like that will always still appear inside here for us to know what keeps going on. Now we can save this report out. So when we do save this report out, we can specifically put it in where all the rest of our snapshots are inside here. So I'm just going to go ahead and go in and set this up to be saved inside here. So we have the model comparison, and it automatically gives the date for it. So we know, hey, this was what it was. I can go ahead and click save. It was saved successfully. Do I want to open up the Excel format of it? I went ahead and clicked yes, but all it's going to do is just open a bigger version of this for you to go through and hone in and look at. So we won't go ahead and save that for right now. Now we can also save this comparison as well. So, hey, we can reference it more and more and more within the same, area, but different ending tag of an MCR instead of an XLX. So we can go from there, click save. So we have that save comparison. So when we want to go ahead and look back at it, we can open that comparison right here, and boom, there it is. Now we can auto copy things across to adjust any, filters saying, hey, we need to copy this over, we need to move this over, things like that, we can do that. Now we also have the filter libraries to really hone in to see, okay, let's go ahead and take away some information, let's adjust some information. We don't need to see certain things. I put in too much data, I need to, get rid of it. And then we have the scheduler configurators, so we can say, hey, save the snapshots to this folder, and put on the date or time of it, apply certain filter settings if we save that out, and then what project information parameters we want to include, along with, hey, do we want to use custom text in there as well, so we know, hey, it's we're working on this project or another project that has a specific code name to it. We can do that as well and work with it. And it would be under a CPD file. So if I go ahead and let's do author, building name, and project address, as I select those over, it would put that in this format. Now I can adjust, hey, what goes first, what goes last, and what information I want to adjust with. And we're going to put hi at the end of this so we can use this nice custom tag to show, hey, it will still continue on in this order. Now we can also have separations of, little hyphens, little underscores, spaces, or space, hyphen, space. So we can really see, all right, this is more clearly, because sometimes our eyes don't want to work for us, especially staring at a computer screen all day long. We have those issues, we have those problems, but hey, we can make it easier on ourselves. Now, I'm not going to go ahead and save this because I don't need it right now, but I have the extra options as well here. Now, inside this extra options, we can even filter in more data and more specifically, especially within the display and report. Do we want to remember the sizes size and the position of the window at any times? You don't have to have that selected. You can if you want to. You don't have to. But also with, show the filter settings and warn if some results maybe, have issues, let us know. I always say keep this checked because you want to be more safe than sorry, especially with dealing with massive projects. You want to know what's going on. You want to know what's adjusted, what has improved, disimproved, things like that. You really want to hone in on that. Now, we can also show, specific symbols or special text. Hey, do we want to see that? Do we want to have it colored based on a value as well? Same thing on the report. And with, the cell colors, do we want to be, based it on the comparison results or the node level, or hey, I just don't want color at all because it's making it hard to see. So we won't use that. Then when we get to the section and display of special items, we can deselect and select what all levels and materials and displays that we want to utilize and work with. When we get into the scheduler here, well, helps if I stay on paths first. To start out, this is where we can set our library folder paths. If we don't save anything to it, if we don't put it in a specific save spot, this is where it will automatically go. So we can change those to say, hey, we want it more specifically on this specific drive or this specific folder. So we can clean it out later and adjust at the end of the day. We just want to hit save and go, save and go. Then when we have our scheduler here, this is where that it's kind of like this, but a little bit more dumbed down. I would say a little bit more pulled back in the way that, hey, what day, what's the default format going to be? What are we going to look at? What are we going to utilize with that? Are we going to replace any naming characters with something? Are we going to have a default spacing as well? What are our log files going to be? Are we going to save them? Are we going to delete files older than a certain amount of days? Where are those log files even going to be stored at? So when we have those issues, we can go back and look for them. And then do we want to have an email email server settings with it. Do we want to say, hey, this is where it's going to go to, this is, the server port for it, more advanced stuff that the IT people can help you out with to kind of understand this is where we're going to store all this information just in case something goes wrong or we can't get it personally on our machines. We have those backups somewhere else. And then the standard default snapshot filters that we can adjust to say, hey, we're only going to look for these on every single project on our own projects because this is what we consistently do. Here's where we can do that. It works very well on looking for specific mechanical equipment, electrical, plumbing, specific architectural side of things, interior design, working specifically on structural. We can see that information. We can adjust that information all from right here and have it set to what we need it to be. Now, always, we have the save filters right here, and it'll put it into a PSF for the project snapshot filters and put it in where it was last known of save setup. So that's kind of the rundown, go through, look through of it right now. Let's go ahead and go back into our presentation here, kind of go over some little bit review and a little bit extra stuff for it. Now, we did discuss some of the small things of lacks of communication. Now, this being with everyone spreading emails, making phone calls, doing adjustments, things like that. Everyone has some sort of way where they relay the message, whether it be too small or too big. Here's that information. Now, we also learned some of the tool, what the model compare tool actually does and its functionality of it. So in this sense, we can see what all is going on and what all can be adjusted at any point in time. Now, we looked at some of the workflows inside here. There's always more that we can utilize. There's always more that can be set up because this can be set up in so many different ways. There's an infinite number of possibilities in here. If I wanted to, I could try to create a matrix for it, but that'd be a lot. That'd be a ginormous number and we wouldn't, that'd be blowing our minds. So we also have those and capabilities as well. Now, jumping over, I am jumping over to any questions you guys have. So you can always put in the Q&A question area specifically, or you can also direct chat me as well. Say, hey, here's the questions that we have. I'm going to leave this open for you guys for a little bit to kind of, ask your questions now before we kind of close out this little project or a little journey that we've been on that we're obviously having fun with. I really, really do appreciate that very much so. Thank you, Miss Danya, for telling me on a good job. That is always amazing and always unique at any point. So still questions are open. I am open to, answer anything else, whether, hey, I don't have this, where can I get it? Kind of set up. I'm here for you guys to, help make this easier and help if you guys want the tools to get it, to make everything a lot better for yourselves, because that's what I'm here for. That's what I love to do, is help you guys out so much. Alrighty, if the questions do already here, we have this. What about live BIM 360 models? So what is nice about it is when we open up Revit and we link it in from that BIM 360, it automatically says, okay, this is the model that you have. And now when we do that model comparison, it's going to follow the same steps as if you had it on your, specific work drive. It's going to follow the same thing, same setup. It's going to take in that information, but it's not going to continuously do it unless you tell them or specifically schedule it or tell it to do that, because it's going to be a little bit harder to track and find going through BIM 360. It doesn't, work right away. With that connection being, though, it will still work with those BIM 360 models to make it easier. Now, Skylar here says that they are new to the software and they are not sure how to start the Revit compare modeling. Where can I find this software? Are there any free trials or anything? So yes, there is. There's a couple different options to go through there. As I pull up my little browser here, you can easily go to atgusa.com right up here at the top. And inside here, right at the products, right at the top here, we have a list of the CTC tools for, building designers, for MEP, for civil, so you can really hone in on what's going on. So we're going to jump into the building designers real quickly here. And now here are the suites for it. Now you can get the brochure as well and also a free trial with that. And in that free trial, you get a 14-day free trial to utilize the tools, play with the tools, things like that, and really adjust on what's all is going to be utilized and kind of work with and play with everything that is in there. So you can really see what all is in there and things like that. Now, also, you can, if you do not have a ATG sales rep, one will reach out and you can even specifically request a more specific demo. So if you saw inside here, you wanted to see more tools that you wanted to look at, you can easily go in and say, hey, I want to see this tool, or I want to see this tool, and kind of work with it to adjust it so we can really help you out and really help everything that is inside your company a lot easier. So you can do that. You can do a lot more information with it. So still open for any questions, still open for anything else. I am here to help you. I'm going to continue on a little bit here. If there's still questions, go ahead and ask them and go from there. Now, hey, I can't remember, what happened or what's going on in this webinar, but I want to look back at it. I want to review with it. We have our YouTube page. This is, roughly it's uploaded within a day to 3 days. So business days of getting this uploaded. But we have that capability. So if you go to atgusa.com, as I pull up real quick, not ATGUSA on YouTube, as if we go to our YouTube page and you just type in ATG USA, you'll automatically see this little logo here. And you can see where all our videos are, where everything else is. So you can really even hone in on, hey, civil, Revit, things like that. You can see that information. Hey, working with the MEPPP or Bluebeam or anything like that. You can really hone in on it, really see everything and go from there. Also, do not forget to go to our LinkedIn page a lot. We share a lot of stuff in there, from little tidbits like little lightsabers for May 4th that we did a couple of years back. We also have, little tech videos that we kind of show off. Hey, here's a little small help in case you didn't know or run into it into the future. You have those options. You have those, different areas to work with and run with. So you have that capability. You have those options. Finally, we come to me thanking you all for being here. I really do appreciate it. I really do enjoy, you guys sticking around, enjoying this time with me, and improving ourselves, because we always got to improve some way, some shape or form at any moment. Now, if you guys do have some small questions that you remember later on down, today, you can always feel free to give me an email or go ahead and shoot me a call. It is a little bit easier to shoot me an email to respond back and get some proper information back to you and provide you with a little bit more information on things. But once again, I thank you guys so much for being here, and have a wonderful day. Make a great day or not. The choice is always yours.